I gotta put my chapstick on because I got a lot to say.
Yo, Dre. What up? I got something to say.
Hoi hoi everyone, welcome to another episode of the O Show. I'm O and I'm here for your amusement. Okay, so for today's movie, we're going to talk about Trap. It is a August 2024 release from M. Night Shyamalan. Okay, now, I do have to say to you guys, I enjoyed myself. I had a fun time. It is an interesting concept. It had me guessing to the very end. But there's just those things in the middle that you're like, what the hell are you talking about? And, you know, so I'll be sitting there going like, oh, ooh, what's... because something just happened and just ruined it. It took me out of the moment. And then, okay, I'm like, okay, I'm getting back into it. Ooh, what? Ooh. And then he just kept doing that through the whole movie. Alright, so, I'm about to spoil the hell out of this movie. So if you have not seen the movie, please go see it. And then come back and talk to me about it. If you don't care, then sit back and relax. Okay, because here we go. Okay, so first of all, if you've seen the trailer for this movie, you will see that Josh Hartnett, hey, Josh Hartnett, I miss him. He is a father, and he is taking his daughter to a concert. The concert artist is a girl named Lady Raven. And in the trailer, you see that he's like doing some crazy stuff. So, I'm not going to say the trailer ruined anything because, you know, Trap, and then you kind of see, like, police and whatever. You just have to figure out, like, what it is. But they kind of tell you there's, like, a serial killer somewhere loose. And then you see this guy doing stuff, not in a heroic way. So you're like, oh, well, he must be, like, the killer. It's not like Abigail, where they're like, we kidnap a girl. Surprise, surprise, it's a vampire, you know, because we're going to talk about that movie soon. But that is what's happening. So, here we go. Josh Hartnett is playing a guy named Cooper. Cooper has a little girl named Riley. And she got, like, good grades. And because of that, he's like, I'm going to take you to see your favorite artist in the world, Lady Raven. So, they park their car, like, blocks away, and they walk to the stadium. And right away, Cooper is just seeing just a lot of police presence at this venue, right? So at first he's like, huh, that's weird. So anyway, they go in, and I love the way the movie is shot because it really kind of puts you there in the stadium. Like, I've gone to plenty of concerts, and I also have worked as an usher at an arena for like 2 years. So if you're in Chicago, you're familiar with the All-State Arena. I was an usher there for like I don't think I went more than 2 years, but I should do an O file on that because I hate people. But people at concerts are so rude. Well, keep a look at anyway. They go and there's like an opening act going and everything, and you really are like getting into this whole concert feel, right? So then the show starts, okay, and Lady Raven comes out and everyone is losing their minds. So Cooper decides he needs to go to the washroom, right? Because, you know, he's not drinking a lot. But anyway, he's like, I gotta go pee. Are you gonna be okay? And she's like, yeah, Dad, go, God. So he goes to the washroom, and he goes into a stall, and he pulls out his phone, and we see that he is watching a live feed of a man trapped in a basement somewhere, right? So right away, again, you're like, he's the killer. So he comes out, he's washing his hands, and he looks over at the sink, and he seems to see like this old lady, right? So of course I'm like, drunk lady. What's she doing in the men's washroom? But then she disappears. So I'm thinking right away, like, what is that, like his mom or something? Anyway, so he leaves, and then he runs into this lady. And she is the mother of a girl named Jody. And apparently Jody and his daughter Riley were like the best of friends or whatever, and they must have had some kind of falling out. I don't even think they say what happened. But something happened, and they're kind of mad at each other. So they're at the concert together, but they're in like, well, Riley doesn't know this yet. So turns out they're at this concert. So Riley and her dad are on the floor, and this girl Jody and her mom are like in 107 somewhere. So, yeah, that's the first one with this weird interaction. You know, blah, 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 blah. And you're like, okay, there's some kind of tension going on with the girls. Whatever. So then he comes back to the concert. You know, he's still looking around. And there's, like, more police. No, we start seeing the policemen walking to, like, random men. And going, like, hey, come here. And, of course, everyone's looking around like, ooh, what's happening? Why are they arresting this man for no reason? Or, you know, whatever. But I guess they're just taking these guys out to, like, investigate them, and then they just come back to their seats, right? So then the first part of like, what the hell is happening? And what drove me crazy throughout this whole movie is there is this concert going on. This lady is like famous as hell, but there are so many people just standing around and walking around in the hallways. You know, going around like where the aisles are at, where the vendors and things, and the washroom, and there's just so many people outside. And at first, Riley's like, oh, they're setting up for the new song, or her next song or something. But concerts don't have intermissions, okay? Like, if I go to a Mariah Carey concert and she has to go change her outfit, she lets her dancers go out and just strut their stuff and do their thing to a remix of one of her songs. Or she'll just like have her background singers go up, and she's like, hey y'all, go have your 10 minutes of fame while I go change into my next dress, right? So something is always happening. But it seems like if you listen, the girl is still performing on stage. So they're out at a t-shirt stand to buy a t-shirt. Again, if your favorite person is on stage, like, you would not leave to go buy a t-shirt during the show. But they do, along with like 100 other people walking behind them. So anyway, she wants this shirt, and there's only one left, but this other girl was like, I've been standing here wanting this shirt too. So there's this black guy, I think his name was Jamie, and he's behind the counter, and so and Cooper's like, well, you know what, let her have it, and we'll come back and try to get it later, you know, if it more comes in stock. And this guy Jamie's like, oh, you guys are so nice, like. First of all, you don't know him. You don't know this family. But anyway, he's like, oh, you guys are so nice. You're like the great family and blah, blah, blah. He's like, come back in like 10 minutes and I'll have a new shirt ready. I just got to go into the stock room to get it. And so they're like, okay. And so Cooper is still seeing like all these cops around. So he goes to this guy and he goes, hey, come here. What's happening, right? Now, the FBI has told all the employees at this venue what is happening, right? So, it's no secret. They say it. The FBI is tracking this guy called the Butcher. The Butcher is the serial killer who has killed like around 12 people right now. And the feds got a tip that he is going to be here at the concert. So this black guy, Jamie, just tells this random man all the tea. Why do you have the black people? Just telling everyone's business, right? This man should have been like, oh, I can't tell you, or I don't know, I'm busy trying to sell t-shirts, sir. But no, not the black guy. He's all like, come on, let me tell you. He just tells this guy everything. Oh, and then on top of that, not only is he saying like, oh, the feds are going to catch this man, right? For no reason, he says, the only place that they're not going to be like, you know, looking for people or whatever is backstage. What? Why would you say that? That's one of those times I was like, oh God. So Cooper's like, maybe I should leave now or something. So he's like walking around, and there's this drunk girl standing there's two girls. One is like super drunk, And her friend kind of leaves her like, hey, I'll be back. I forgot what she was doing, but she leaves her friend at the top of the stairs, and she's just all like, Cooper goes behind her and like elbows her, and she goes flying down the stairs. And everyone goes over going, oh my god, like, what happened? What happened? And so it's like, oh, she's like super drunk. Second of all, y'all, did I say first of all before? I probably did, because there's going to be first of all, second of all, third of all, 15th of all during this whole review. No one saw him do this. Like, it was so obvious what he did, right? But it's really unsure what time this concert's taking place. Because they go there, it's sunny as hell outside, and at the end of the concert, it's sunny as hell outside. So, what is this, like Disney on Ice? Like, did this show start at 11 o'clock in the morning? Because it's so daylight outside, it's ridiculous. What the hell is my point of telling you this? Oh yeah, I don't know what time of day it is, right? So this girl is like super drunk. And later on as you're like watching the movie, you're like, what time of the day is this? So yeah, how the hell did she get drunk? The show's only been going on for like 10 minutes so far. You don't get drunk until like an hour in to a concert. Alright, moving on. Okay. So, what happened? Oh yeah. So, Lady Raven's like, I have a surprise guest, you guys. And then, in the aisle, right next to where Riley and Cooper are standing, the floor seems to like separate. And this little elevator thing comes up, and like I don't remember his name, but some guy comes out of the floor, and then he makes his way to the stage, right? But I was like, where is security at? There was no security around this man. Like, what is stopping anybody from just like tackling this guy? You do have some ushers just kind of like this in the aisle, but not enough. I have seen enough shows where you have to have like a line of people like chained so that, you know, crazy fans don't get crazy, because you don't trust these people. There's already a drunk girl falling down the stairs. Well, she was pushed, but you know what I'm saying? But yeah, this man just made his way, and then they leave the trap door open for like 5 minutes after he's already like been on stage. So then Cooper's looking at it like, hey honey, ooh, look at that. I bet it goes to like backstage area. You want to go down there and see like what's happening? And she's looking at her dad like, what the fuck is your problem? Like, what? No, we can't do that. So this girl, I can't think of her real name, but the girl's playing Riley. She's actually really good in this movie. I like her character because she really is asking the right questions, because her dad is like disappearing here and there. He's coming back. He's talking about going into like the floor and shit. And like, you know what else is funny too? She's filming Lady Raven as her dad is asking her this dumbass question, right? So first of all, now you're just ruining my video, Dad, because I want to go home and listen to like what I recorded, and then I got you over here and talk about some. You want to go into the floor? Oh, you think it would be cool? Oh my God! Shut up. So speaking of Cooper leaving, he leaves again right now, right? So now he's like, okay, honey, I'm gonna go see if that T-shirt is ready, right? And she's like, okay. So now he goes back into the hallway. He goes back to the vendor, and then the guy, Jamie, he's like, oh my God, I forgot. He's like, well, you know what, come with me. I'm going to go into the storage room, and you can come with me. Okay, that is like a job violation right there. Now, sir, you know there's a killer. First of all, you're black. And second of all, there's a killer running around, right? So I'm thinking like, oh God, Jamie's going to die, because let me guess, there's going to be no security where he goes, right? And sure enough, he just goes to the storage room, finds this box of T-shirts, and he's alone with Cooper. So Cooper doesn't kill him, even though he had a chance. The guy gives him like a box cutter. He's like, we're like, oh God, he's gonna kill Jamie, but he does it. So the black guy lives. But you know, the guy's like, oh God, well, you know what? You're such a good guy. Like, here's the T-shirt. But then he's also like, hey, I have a video of like some dead bodies from the butcher because I'm just obsessed. And he shows them to Cooper. He's like, no, I don't want to see it, and whatever. Like, why is this character so extra? Go back to work. Okay, so Now, Cooper's just walking around the hallway, and then he runs into Jody's mom again. Y'all, this is a huge ass arena. Why is this lady, just like Cooper, just walking around the hallways during this concert? Still full of people. There are still full of people in this hallway just walking, doing nothing while a concert's going on. So anyway, here comes Jody's mom. They talk about their daughters and all this other stuff. So then we see like some guy gets arrested, like arrested. So you're like, oh, you think that the feds found someone, but it just ends up being a guy who actually did some other crime, but he thought that's why the cops were there, so he freaked out. But that's not who they're looking for. So, oh my god. So, Cooper goes... Okay, so while he was in that storage room with Jamie, he was able to steal Jamie's badge. Employee badge. So he goes into this room. It's an employee-only room, and there's a group of cops in there being briefed about, like, who they're looking for. But, like, why are they... Did these guys just come from, like, another police station? Like, why are they being briefed now on what's happening? So, they're saying, like, this guy... Anyway, I don't know. Anyway, somehow, he comes through, he makes his way through this crowd of policemen and SWAT just because he has a fucking badge on. And then he makes his way like, oh, excuse me guys, I'm gonna get some coffee. Don't mind me. So he goes and makes a cup of coffee, and on his way out, steals a walkie-talkie that apparently also has like a earpiece. Then he makes his way to this food place. You know, the food... What's that place? The restaurant thing. And so there's this fryer, right? The other side of the counter. And somehow he's able to go near the fryer, turn the temperature up on it, and he sees these bottles of oil and puts 2 bottles into the fryer. The fryer that is in the oven so that everyone at the counter can see. Because again, M. Night Shyamalan has 100 people in the hallway while a concert is going on. So there should be like 3 people there. You know, there should be like everyone inside watching the show. There should be like at max maybe 3 people trying to get some snacks. Okay, not this movie. So anyway, the worker walks by and sees that there's bottles in this boiling oil, and the bottles explode on her. So he's trying to make like this diversion of like, ooh, if I can draw a crowd over here, I can go this way. So he ends up stealing an apron, and then he goes to the roof. But of course there's SWAT up there, and they're like, hey man, what are you doing up here? And he's like, oh, I just saw this accident, my coworker got burned, I'm just so distraught. I'll just go, don't tell my boss I came up here. I was just like really upset. And so they're like, okay, well, what's the password? So everyone, like if you're an employee, you were given a password to tell the cops in case they ask you, so that they know that you know what's going on, whatever, right? So apparently the password is Hamilton. And guess how Cooper knew what the password was? That's right. He got his loudmouth friend Jamie. Hey man, the password is Hamilton. Like, shut the fuck up! So, anyway, I guess they were also given a card. It's just so much. I guess all the employees were given some kind of card, so if the SWAT asks for it, they can show them. So remember, he just stole this random apron that was hanging up. And so he was like, oh, let me see. And it just so happens to have like this Asian man's wallet inside. And so he goes through it. Like, the guy's ID is there and stuff. And there's this card. He just so happens to see, I think it had the name of the stadium on it or something. So he shows the cop. And they're like, oh, okay, well, you're free to go. What? He just so happened to have a wallet with this card that he knew nothing about. I don't even know why that scene is even in the movie. Okay, so we go back downstairs. He's walking down this hallway, and then there goes Riley. So I guess Riley decides to leave her seat and go look for her dad among hundreds of people. And she does. They just run into each other, and she's like, "Oh my God, Dad, what are you doing?" He's just like, "Oh, I was on my way back." So then on their way back to their chairs, Riley's telling him that there's a part coming up where Lady Raven picks a girl out of the audience to come on stage. And it's called a Dreamer Girl? A Believer Girl? I think it's Dreamer Girl. And so I'm like, Jamie already said that there's no police presence backstage. So now Riley brings up this thing like, ooh, someone gets picked to go on stage with the singer, which means they could go into the backstage area. So this man is walking down the aisle, and for some reason Josh Hartnett's character sees him and goes, So he leaves his seat again. Okay, first of all, if I was the cops or usher, I'd be like, look, this man right here is just going back and forth for no reason. He leaves, he comes back with nothing. He leaves, comes back with nothing. What happened to that t-shirt he brought? So he leaves again. But he goes to this man and he goes, oh, are you with the crew? And the guy was like, whoa, yes. As a matter of fact, I am Lady Raven's uncle, right? And guess who plays the uncle? The one and only M. Night Shyamalan, because every movie he puts himself in it. And he's always like this, he makes a cameo on all his stuff. So I was just waiting for who is he going to be in this movie. So he ends up being the uncle who just so happens to be involved with the whole Dreamer Girl thing, to be like, oh, let's pick a girl from the audience and see who's going to go on stage, right? Oh, Lord. So Cooper makes this story up that his daughter had leukemia. And she's over it now. It's gone. She was a fighter. And that's why they're at the concert. So, of course, now this guy was like, well, that's going to be a great story to tell. So he comes over to their seat and he's like, hey, Riley, you want to be a Dreamer Girl? So, of course, she's all like, yes, duh. So that's what they do. So they go on stage and Riley actually gets to sing and dance with Lady Raven. It actually is a funny scene because that girl Jody I was telling you about, whose mom is just always in the hallway. So since Jody is now having to fall out with Riley, Jody, they show Jody looking at Riley like dancing on stage, and then Jody's all upset with her mom because like, Mom, see, now we're not friends and I could have been on stage with her. So like the mom and the daughter are fighting and the mom called her a beast. I thought she could call her a bitch, but she called her a beast. And then the daughter like throws a drink in her face. Oh my God. I was waiting for that mom to slap the shit out of her, but he didn't. Ugh. Suburban children. I thought the trap in this another trap in this movie is the fact that M. Night Shyamalan's daughter plays Lady Raven. Okay, I think her name was Shalika Night Shyamalan. I knew his daughter was in the movie. I thought it was the other daughter. I don't know how many children he had, but his other daughter, Ishana, she directed the movie The Watchers, which I'm going to talk about next because, Okay, so, apparently, and I noticed this when the opening credits was happening, it was like music written and performed by Shalika Shyamalan. I was like, wait a minute. Is she like an artist? And it turns out this girl actually is an artist. She has an album out and everything. So now he made us watch this movie with this girl who is an artist singing her actual songs and performing for like the hour. How long is this movie? I don't know. But did he trap us into watching his daughter perform through this whole movie and act? Alright. I'm sorry, I just had to put that out there. Okay, so what happened next? M. Night Shyamalan is really like dogging these girls, right? Because There's another girl who's trash. I thought she like died or something. These guys are carrying this girl's body backstage, and then ends up putting her like in this medical area. Well, it's not a medical area. They just put her backstage. Is that what we do for drunk girls? Like, why are all the girls drunk at this this concert? And then Cooper's like, oh, let me go take care of her. So he like takes her in the back and puts her down and puts an ice pack on her head. And everyone's like, oh, he's so nice. Why are all the girls drunk? Oh my god, you guys. So then, Kid Cudi is in this movie, right? I don't remember his name. It was something dumb, like the Thinker or something. Tinker? I don't know. But he is wearing this white wig, and he's acting like a bitch. Like, when we first see him, he's telling his assistant, like, ew, you put whole milk in my something, I don't know, his coffee or something. He's like, I gotta go take poops. Is that what he said? He said something ridiculous like that. Like, I'm pooping all day. I gotta take poops. I swear he said the word poop. What? So I guess he's like, the concert's ending. She's about to sing her final song, and Riley's watching her backstage get ready. And I guess she has asthma, so she takes her inhaler and like inhales, but that never comes back up. So what's the point of her being, what's the word, asthmatic? Is that a word? What's the point of her having asthma? And then Kid Cudi comes out as person, whatever, performs on stage with her, goes backstage, being rude again to like his assistant, talks to Lady Raven, who's like, oh, I'll see you in LA. He's like, okay. And then he leaves. He never comes back for the rest of the movie. So, why is he there? He just... And, of course, and then on top of all that, he's gay because he walks by Cooper and Riley, who are waiting to see Raven. And then he goes, oh, hey, well, not hey, Riley, but, you know, he's just like, hey, like, as he walks by to Riley. And then he takes a look at Cooper and just all like, ooh, and rubbing his ass. So we're like, oh, okay, so he's gay. Moving on. Okay, you guys, so here comes the kicker. So through the whole movie, there's this woman who's like leading the FBI. This is old lady. I don't remember her name, but she's like the intelligent person who's like, okay, our suspect is going to be doing this. He's probably going to be doing this. He's running out of time. He's going to be panicking and doing all this stuff, right? And then I looked her up, and that's that lady who played Miss Bliss all the way back in the 80s before they fired her from her show and then made it Saved by the Bell. So, through the whole movie, they're just randomly stopping men. They're randomly just pulling them out of their seat. These men are minding their own business watching this show. And I guess since the show is now over, she's like, okay, you know what? We still haven't found him. So what we're going to do is we're going to take every man in this arena and we're going to go and investigate each one. And they're like, there's such and such attendance in this place. Out of everyone in here, there are 3,000 men. So you mean to tell me? You know what I thought was going to happen? I thought they were going to pull like a Joe Jackson and just put chains on the doors, right? Like while everyone's inside watching the show, they're going to chain the doors so everyone's trapped inside and can't leave.
I want every door in this school chained and locked. All of them.
Yes, sir.
And now they're going to take every man and, you know, interrogate them. But like as the concert is over and people are leaving, every time a man walks out the door, they grab them and like they take them to these tents. And I'm just thinking like, if a guy is there with like their little girl, I mean, this Lady Raven doesn't seem like a big threat in music, so there's a lot of young girls there. So if someone's there with their little daughter, they just separate the daughter from the guy, and what do they do with the girl? They just be like, look, little girl, go sit down and wait. Wait 6 hours while we go through 3,000 men. Can you do that? What? I don't understand what's happening. So Cooper and Riley get a chance to finally meet Raven backstage. And then Cooper's still seeing that there's still police back there, which there wasn't supposed to be. So he pulls Raven into this room. And then he starts talking about oxygen or carbon monoxide or something. And then he shows her his phone. And he says, you see this man? This man's going to die or live because of you. So what I need you to do is take me and my daughter out of the venue, free and clear, and we're going to get into your limo, and you're going to drive us out of here. First of all, what limo? So at the beginning of the movie, when they first get to the venue, there's like this bridge overlooking like this, like the back door or something. And there are 2 tour buses back there. Raven gets off of a tour bus. But now, Cooper's like, we're going to get into your limo. You're going to drive us out of here. Who said she had a limo? Did anyone say like, well, she's going to get into the limo and go to the hotel and whatever, right? Who's to say she's not going to get on the bus and just go to like the next city or go to... So apparently she has a limo and a driver and everything. So no one thought, okay, there's still this hallway full of men by this door. At no point was this lady going to be like, fuck this man who's in the basement. He's a killer, y'all. He's a killer. He's a killer. You're right. There are like 12 police SWAT people in the hallway. Why didn't she say like, y'all, he has me hostage. He's a killer. He's the killer. Take his phone. Take his phone. Take his phone. And even if he kills the guy, or I don't know what he has to do on his phone to do it, at least they got him. They can't kill no one else, you know? And then maybe they can then figure out, like, maybe where the guy is. I don't know. But she just says, like, he's free and clear, you guys. Like, he's with me. I'm going to bone him or something. I don't know. Like, why would we just leave with, like, this man and his daughter? Like, I don't know. But apparently the police have no issues with it, so they just let them go. And the limo leaves the arena, and we're done with that. So I thought the whole thing was going to stay place at this arena, but nope. We are on the road. So he was like, y'all can just let us off here, and then we'll go to our car. And then Raven's like, well, no, Riley, how about you show me where you live? I'm going to go to your house. So, of course, Riley's like, fuck yeah, you can. She calls her mom and everything. So now we go to Riley's house. Oh, God, why is this movie still going? So I'm like, okay. All right. So we get there. We meet the mom and Riley's little brother. And they're having snacks and deviled eggs. And Raven asked the mom, like, no, or the mom was like, how was your day? Or like, it must be crazy or whatever. And she's like, no, today was like really crazy. Have you heard of the butcher? Like the whole place was just full with SWAT because they were told the butcher's going to be there. Because they found a receipt for concert tickets. So that is how, so now we're getting more information. So I'm like, ooh, what? So apparently there was a receipt found at the crime scene, I guess the recent crime scene, showing a purchase of tickets to this concert. So they were like, oh man, the butcher is going to go see Lady Raven. This serial killer is going to a concert. Okay. That's the twist. Part of it. Alright, so look. She decides she's going to sing a song at the family's piano. And then has Riley come over and sit next to her. But then she steals Riley's phone without no one seeing that. And so she's singing and singing, and then she goes, "Can I go to the washroom?" Wait, no, she doesn't. No, she doesn't. She says, "Let's take a picture. Let's take a selfie." Then she goes, "Let's use your dad's phone." So she snatches her dad's phone out of his hand, and then goes, "I need to go to the washroom." And they're like, "It's there." Saying that she just snatched the dad's phone, but no one's. I would have been like, "Take his phone. Fuck him." But you're Lady Raven. You can do whatever you want in my house. But she goes to the washroom, and then this freaks out Cooper. So he's just banging on the door like, "Open the door, open the door, open the door." So Raven finds whatever app or video he's watching that guy and starts speaking to him through the camera. So we learned that this guy's name is Spencer. And she's like, "Spencer, when you got kidnapped, do you remember anything?" And he was like, "I remember a broken lion. And then right across the street, I went to this place that had like a blue door." So then Raven gets on like some kind of like Instagram live, whatever, they're using in the movie. So she goes on live and she goes, "Help me, you guys, help me. If you're in the Philadelphia area," is it Philadelphia? I don't know what city they're in. But do you know anything about a park or anything with a broken lion? And then right near there's a blue door. So right away, people are like, "On it. Check with my cousin. I'm texting my dad. I'm doing this. I'm doing that." And they actually really do quickly say, "I know where that is." And she goes, "If you know where that is, get the police. There is a man down there trapped in the basement. Like, you need to free him." Which, I see, there's a documentary of some guy who was like killing cats or something. And people are like, "Oh my God, you're so horrible." And they actually like a team of people banded together and did this whole like investigation and found exactly where this man was and who he was. So I didn't think that was just too, far out. Like, I've seen shit like that happen. I'm sure people are just like, "Found it. I know where you are." Because that's the age we live in now. So Cooper like takes his wife and kids and locks them into Riley's room, comes back downstairs and finally breaks into the bathroom. So he gets the phone, he looks at it, and right away he sees that Spencer has been saved. Like, he is no longer trapped in the basement. So now, instead of killing Raven, he like takes her into his wife's car, into the garage, and he's going to drive off with her. But when he opens the garage door, his wife and kids are out there. So he's like, "Well, how the hell did they break out of Riley's room?" So, whatever. But then Raven gets out, and while Raven was in the bathroom, she told her limo driver to call the cops. But she just says call the cops. She didn't say call the cops. The butcher's here. So I'm just thinking like a cop car is going to come, but like no, the whole like SWAT team from the arena shows up. Well, how did they know what was happening? No one said he was the butcher. She didn't tell the driver like he's the butcher. So I don't know how that happened. So anyway, so Raven gets out of the car because Cooper's like, "Oh God, what do I do now?" So he just like closes the garage door. He's just in the house. So now the house is just being surrounded by SWAT. And he's just like walking around like do. And then you see him taking stuff out of this pantry. And then when the cops go in, all of a sudden he's not in the house no more. So they were like, they found a tunnel. I guess there was like a hidden door in the pantry. And they're like, they found a tunnel that leads to like their neighbor's yard. So now apparently like this man is on the loose. But then the movie starts getting crazy because this man all of a sudden has like a SWAT uniform on. Somehow convinces the limo driver to get out. Oh, I guess because he was dressed as a SWAT, I guess. But anyway, he has the limo driver get out. Then he gets in. And Raven's now in her limo, but doesn't realize the switch that just happened. And then he starts driving away. So then at one point he like pulls over and comes into the back and handcuffs Raven to this pole that's on the side of the limo. And then drives off. So I was like, oh God, he's gonna like, go trap her. So it's really funny how like Lady Raven just became like the star of the movie. Alright, so anyway, yes. So now Raven's being taken captive. And he goes to this like busy area of the town and pulls over, and she's reaching for the window and manages at one point to get the window down, and everyone's like, oh my god, it's Lady Raven, and she's like, heavy, but he's like, what are you doing, and puts the window back up, right? So she manages to now free herself from the shackles and gets out of the limo. The SWAT team all of a sudden appears. Because I'm guessing maybe the limo driver's like, one of your guys took the limo. So somehow they tracked the limo. I think she did say that. Did she say there's a tracker on her phone? Maybe. I don't know. But anyway, they found him. But all of a sudden, he plays Houdini and gets out of the limo and puts on like civilian clothes. And is standing there among the crowd, because there's still a crowd around the limo until the SWAT team is like, get away from the car, everyone. They shoot the tires, they shoot the window, and they realize he's not in there. You mean to tell me now one of those people surrounding the limo saw anyone get out of the driver car, like, or the door? Like, who? What? It was surrounded. So now he has magic powers. Okay. Anyway, somehow he makes it back to the parents, or, well, not the parents' house, his house. He's the parent. So his wife is still there. So the cops are like, well, we took your children, they're going to stay at your sister's. Do you want to go somewhere? We can put you in hiding or whatever. And she was like, no, I'm going to stay in the house tonight. So they go, Uber, we're going to have two cops, like, stay out front. And then that made me think, like, wait, you're going to put two officers in the front? No one said anything about the back. You just said that he had a tunnel in his neighbor's yard. Is anyone guarding the tunnel so that no one goes back into the house? But, surprise, surprise, this man is in the house.
Surprise, surprise. Surprise, surprise.
In the kitchen. And puts two and two together to realize that it was the wife that tipped off the FBI. So she kind of put things together because he wasn't coming home. He was smelling of like weird chemicals because he's a fireman, but he was smelling like a fireman when he came home. She followed him one day and went somewhere and saw this, and then she was the one who like took the receipt out of his wallet and left it. Instead of just saying, my husband is the killer. She's over here going, just put this Easter egg here so they just like, they can find a clue and figure it out themselves. Weeks later, you know, these people are interviewing 3,000 men in a concert when you could have just said, my husband's asleep, go get him. Like, he's right there. Oh, wait, and you know what else is weird? That whole time, after Spencer is freed, and then you fast forward to when he kidnapped her, she escaped, and now they're looking for her. The police takes her to the house with the blue door, and who's standing out on the street? Spencer, with like a blanket wrapped around him. This man has been kidnapped. Why is he still in the street? The police are taking you to the hospital to get checked out to make sure you're fine. He's just standing there just talking to a police officer with a blanket around his. Get me home. Why do you guys still have me out here? So Raven like walks up and gives him a hug. Alright, so anyway, back to Cooper being in the house. So even though the movie's called Trap, we are now given a first trap because Josh Hartnett takes his shirt off, right? Now he's shirtless and he's looking fine. And why do the killers always look cute? So here's this meat cleaver, right? So we're like, oh Lord, he's gonna kill his wife. And then she goes, well, before you kill me, just let's have a piece of pie. Because we're supposed to be celebrating Riley, even though this bitch went to a concert. But she was like, we're celebrating. Let's have this piece of pie.
No, Miss Walters. That's Miss Hilly's special pie.
So he goes ooger And so, yeah, so she like gets 2 plates and gets, the pie cut and what have you. And then she sits down and he's eating the pie, but he realizes that he doesn't realize that she's not eating her pie. And this fool eats the whole thing, right? And it wasn't until after he eats the pie, he looks down and he notices like this powder. So since the wife knows that her husband is a murderer and doesn't say anything to nobody, she found like this bag that he had, and he had like this powder in it, right? So she took the powder and she put it on the pie, fed it to him, and I guess it's not poison. I guess it's just like to knock him out or something. But he gets real wheezy or whatever, and then he starts seeing his mom. So his mom is dead. There's a part where Raven was saying how when the police was putting together like who the profile of this man is, someone mentioned that it's probably a guy who's been traumatized from his childhood, probably because he had like a baddie mom who drove him crazy. So every time he sees this old lady, like in the beginning in the washroom, it was his mom. So he's walking towards the door where the mom is standing, and then SWAT surprises him and stuns him, right? With like stun guns. Why are we not shooting this man? So he eventually makes his way to one of the cops and like kills the man. I forget what he did. He like gouged his eyes out or something. But he kills one of the policemen, right? And then they like tase him again. Why are you not shooting this man? Now my black ass was in that house and I killed a cop. My ass would be dead on the floor with an outline of chalk around my body. But they're like, no, we're just gonna tase him. Oh my god. So they put chains and stuff on him and they walked him out to take him into the paddy wagon. But on the way, he sees this bicycle that's laying down on the ground. So he has to go over and pick it up, right? But I guess when he did that, he must have broken a spoke off of it. Is that what it's called? A spoke? The little wire thing on the wheels? So he manages to do that where no one sees it because he's like this master criminal. And they put him in the back of the thing and they're taking him in, but he goes into like his sleeve and pulls out the spoke and uncuffs himself, and now he's free again. Well, he's free inside the thing, but so we're like, oh, okay, well, they're gonna open the door and he's gonna do ninja kicks and break his way out. He's gonna be on the run again. I know it. I just know it. But the movie is like over after that, right? So I guess the M. Night Shyamalan twist is, what is Cooper going to do next? Because we don't know. Alright, so the credits are going up. People are starting to leave. But then there's like this like little mid credit scene where that blabbermouth Jamie from earlier, he's at home watching the news. And they're like, the butcher has been captured. It's this man right here, Cooper. He's looking like, oh my god, I helped that man. He's like, I'm not talking to no one no more. That scene is actually pretty funny. Yes, shut your mouth, Jamie. Talk so damn much. You are accomplice. Oh my god, that was funny. But yeah, guys, that was Trap. So here's my thing. It's not a bad movie. Again, it's just those things where if you go to a lot of concerts, there's just things where, like, there's a part where he's listening to the cops on the walkie-talkie thing. Remember, he stole a walkie-talkie. He's just walking around with this earpiece in his ear. No one's saying anything about that. He gets to this one hallway with a fire alarm, right? And there's just crowds of people just walking down the hallway for no reason at all. And he's like, should I pull the fire alarm? At one time, he has like his hand up, and he's gonna do it, right? And you mean to tell me no one was like, this is crazy man, like, he looks like he's gonna pull the fire alarm, like, or like, excuse me, sir, what are you doing? And you have this place crawling with security, and there's not one security guard down this hallway, like, what's he doing? It's stuff like this, like, and it's just stuff like that. But if I could just take out all the stuff that stopped me from watching the movie and asking questions, it's a good movie. It's a good concept. It's different. Like, yes, why are the feds there? What are they doing? But just the whole, we're just gonna, come here, sir, come here. And they were taking black people, white people, redheads, people with brown hair, brunettes. At one point they were like, he may have a tattoo of an animal on his wrist, which Cooper actually does. And he takes a slap bracelet and covers it up, so no one ever questions that anymore. But it's like they don't have a definitive like description of this person. He is fitting the profile of some things they're saying, but not everything they're saying. But then to be like, okay, we're just going to interview like 3,000 people. What is stopping, which happens, what's stopping the killer from just pretending to be an employee? Why tell the employees anything in the first place? So now you got all these people, and then you risk dumbasses like Jamie going, oh, you seem like a nice man, guy, like, come here. The butcher is here. They're going to and the password is Hamilton. Like, shut the fuck up. Like, you're not supposed to tell. Just ongoing people, like, it's messed like that. Like, I still want to know what Kid Cudi's like. You know what? Anyway, that is, I don't want to know anymore. That's Trap, you guys. M. Night Shyamalan is going to forever make these movies, which I invite, like, still do it. I guess they're just like hit or misses sometimes. I'm not going to say this is a miss. It's a fun movie. It keeps you kind of guessing. Not anymore if you watch this. But, I warned you. But, it's not that bad. It keeps going, and you're just kind of like, oh, what's going to happen now? And it's not one where you're like, you kind of know how it's going to end until, like the movie, I swear, I thought it was going to end like 3 times. And it just kept going. I was like, oh, okay. we're still doing this. So, yeah, it was interesting. And, again, joke's on us, because are you guys going to buy his daughter's album? She has an album called, like, Seance or something. I was just reading it. I haven't heard or anything. I don't know. But, yeah. Alright, so, if I had to rate Trap, I'm gonna give it 3 shots. Okay? I'm gonna give it 3. Like I said, I had to get time. I didn't walk out like, oh god, why did I spend my money on this? It's just those little things where, why would Riley just all of a sudden get up and be like, I want a t-shirt? Well, you should have got that. And that's what drove me crazy too. Like I said, there was an opening act. There's times where they're sitting down eating pretzels, just sitting there, just waiting for the show to start. That will be the time for you to buy a t-shirt. But I guess we have to have the scene where they talk to Jamie, and then we learn, what's happening. So, whatever. So, cheers! Ooh. Ooh. That brown liquor. Okay. We got some Captain Morgan up in here. Woo. Alright, you guys, while I do this, let me know in the comments below, have you seen Trap? Are you going to see Trap? It just came out Friday. What's today? Today's Saturday. So, yes. Yeah, it just came out. So, you got time. It's there. I'm interested to see, where it's going to open up after this weekend. Woo! What's your favorite M. Night Shyamalan movie? I dare someone to say Lady in the Water. That movie. Alright, please like this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I will see you all in the next episode. So until then, TTFN.